Thank you, Lori. All right, let's jump right into it. And why don't we start, if it's okay, kind of at the beginning, talking about, that terrible experience of being told that your child has cancer, or being the child that is told you have cancer. Everybody who's gone through this can remember the exact day, time, place that your doctor told you those words, and it's life-changing. So, Lori, maybe I can start with you. Can you talk just a little bit about some of the emotions and psychosocial needs that patients and families experience at that early stage of diagnosis?
Sure, I'd be happy to, though I think that you're going to hear from everyone here on the panel your own experiences. But there's no doubt that childhood cancer has a powerful and lasting impact on a child and family and the immediate community. Parents see themselves as providers for your child, to protect them, to have them outlive you, and to protect them from fear or hurt or pain. And so after a child is diagnosed with cancer, families now endure a transition from feeling safe to a feeling of uncertainty and vulnerability. No family member, none, is unaffected by this experience. And so shock, confusion, guilt, especially if you feel like you didn't pay enough attention to perhaps some symptoms that the child had, anger, numbness, fear, they're all normal feelings that are experienced by families after a child is diagnosed. And most parents struggle to understand or comprehend, or just to be able to absorb all the information they're being told. And driven with the desire to reverse this outcome, you may get second opinions or third opinions, just to be able to absorb what it is that you've been told. And then it's just like, what do I do? Who do I tell? And how do I tell my child? And how do I tell my child's siblings, if you have other siblings? And you talked about earlier that this is a day you'll never forget, but that conversation is also one that is not forgotten. How it was told, who it was told by, what words were used, who was in the room. You may even remember the clothes that person was wearing, or a smell or a scent of what took place. And it's the same thing for a child to learn the diagnosis. Once that happens and a treatment plan is established, families start to be able to adapt to a new life and what has to take place. And with the treatment and a treatment plan comes a sense of hope, because now you have a plan to be able to go forward.
Devin, maybe I can turn to you. You and I have talked a little bit as fathers about that feeling of guilt, right? When you get the diagnosis, and you immediately as dad go to that place of, it's my job to protect the family. What have I done wrong here? What have I missed? I think those are really important insights.
Yeah, just like becoming a dad was transformative for me. I remember the first day I held Leah in my arms. I made that promise that, all parents really make to their kids the first time they hold them, about just being able to provide for them and protect them, and give them the best life possible. And when Leah was diagnosed with cancer, I felt like I failed, like I let go of my first promise that I ever gave her, because now she was battling for her life and I couldn't do anything to really change that. So I felt like I failed as a dad, and I started to just blame myself. Why didn't I see the signs earlier that she had cancer? Because she had stage 4, which means she had it for a long time, and I wasn't aware what was going on in her body. Did I give her the wrong type of foods? Did I pass something on genetically? And I just started to go on a downward spiral of all these negative thoughts that really put me at a standstill. It was hard to really make decisions or move forward when I just kept blaming myself. But eventually I let go of those limiting beliefs. I realized that this wasn't passed on genetically, that most kids with her form of cancer get diagnosed at stage 4. So there's really nothing I could do. The only thing that I can do moving forward was look at the approach that we were going to take. I tell people all the time, one of my biggest struggles through Leah's battle with cancer is that I took too much ownership over the outcome. I wanted it to be a certain outcome, and when things didn't look like it was moving forward to that destination, I really struggled. I started to lose hope. But when I let go of the ownership of the outcome, and I just started to take ownership of the approach, how we were going to approach this mentally, how we were going to give it everything we had, regardless of the outcome, is when I felt like we took our power back in this battle with cancer.